Marolei, Soifua, Paul Foster-Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, it's actually a pleasure to follow on from the member who's just resumed her seat. I have a lot of respect for her. She is a very gracious member of this House, but she is utterly wrong in almost everything she has said this afternoon. Sir, it is a great time to be a New Zealander. This is a hard-working government, and we have delivered an excellent budget that will make a real difference for young New Zealanders, vulnerable New Zealanders, and children who are in poverty. Sir, I want to put this in some context. We have just come through the greatest financial crisis in recent living memory, and I appreciate there are some members who should be superannuated on the other side who can remember back probably to the Great Depression, but on this side of the House, we do take fiscal responsibility along with our social responsibilities very, very seriously. Last night in the United Kingdom, we had the Queen's speech delivered giving an outline of what the British government, Her Britannic Majesty's government, intends to do, in which they capped off benefit payments, reducing by £3,000 the entitlement of maximum support, whereas this is the first government in 43 years in New Zealand which has actually increased support to those families who are the most vulnerable, and I'm very proud to be a member of the party on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker. In this vein, New Zealand too has maintained a sensible fiscal situation. The Tory party in the UK have said there will be no more tax increases to income tax or VAT, and I'd point out that they have a higher VAT rate of 20% than we do. And on this side of the world, we too are maintaining an approach which will help build growth whilst protecting those who are most vulnerable, putting investment into health, and I'm actually very impressed with what Dr Coleman has managed to deliver in the health budget, but also education, which provides for the future of our young people, and that's been driven in large part by Minister Parata, and I'd like to congratulate her for that. Sir, I want to talk about some specific initiatives which will be of benefit to Wellington and Wellingtonians. We've seen an extra $2 million to complete the Pukeahu War Memorial Park, the National War Memorial, and get the further memorials to other allied partners in there. Excellent investment too in the $4.6 million for extra hospice services, particularly Mary Potter and Te Omanga, two of our local hospices who do such great work in palliative care, and as my colleague Chris Bishop points out, in the Hut as well as Wellington. There's been $40 million of capital works for Te Papa, our national museum, but that will be a boon to our local economy as we see the woeful neglect of the previous Labor government reversed with that investment, and $41 million worth of screen production grants for Avatar, Thunderbirds Season 2, which has been filmed right now out at the wonderful Miramar studios of Sir Richard Taylor. There's $64 million for Callaghan Innovation's strategic growth infrastructure, which my colleague Chris Bishop is going to refer to. Massive ongoing investment for Transmission Gully in this budget, and we haven't heard the Green members talk about that since the flooding knocked out transport links in our region, proving how necessary that emergency route is, as well as the extra time savings and efficiency it'll bring to our local economy. And I'm particularly proud, sir, of the $113 million worth of new money for tertiary education, a goodly share of which will go into our local institutions, Victoria University, Massey, Whitirea, Welltech, which do such a good job, and I'm looking forward to seeing the ICT graduate school announced here soon. In education, sir, there's been more funding for special education. Over the course of this government, under the leadership including of Minister Parata, we've seen special needs investment increased by a quarter. That's a large extra amount of funding going into autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, learning difficulties, and support for the kids who didn't traditionally qualify for that extra support. More hours for teacher aides, and also, unlike the members opposite who could be characterised as a bunch of supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies, we actually have a...
At least one member understands it and the member will withdraw. The member will withdraw the comment?
Sorry, Mr Speaker, you do understand that.
I do, and therefore I require the member to withdraw. Thank you.
And apologise to you, sir. So on this side of the House, we have a backbone, so we are proud to be able to deliver a non-ideological policy which benefits children and doesn't take into account sectional interests. And for that reason, I proudly back the fact that we are funding parent-led early childhood education, including play centre, including kohanga reo and other forms of ECE, because these are so important for the future of our country. This is a great budget, sir, and I am proud to support it.
Malolei Soifua Chris Bishop.
Soiflava, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, this is a